More than 2,000 years ago, on the banks of the Tiber River, a small settlement began to grow. That settlement would one day become the center of one of the greatest civilizations in human history, Rome. From a modest beginning, Rome rose to dominate lands across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. It built roads that connected continents, laws that shaped governments, and structures that still stand today. It created what we now call the Roman Empire. But Rome was not always an empire. According to legend, the city was founded in 753 BC by Romulus. While the legend tells of divine origins, historians believe Rome began as a small Latin community that gradually expanded through trade, alliances, and warfare. In 509 BC, the Romans removed their last king and established a new system of government known as the Republic. Power was no longer held by a single ruler. Instead, elected officials in the Senate governed the state. Citizens had rights and responsibilities. Laws were written and recorded. This political structure gave Rome stability and organization. But Rome's strength did not come from politics alone. It came from discipline. The Roman army became one of the most efficient and feared military forces in the ancient world. Soldiers were highly trained, loyal, and organized into legions. With strong leadership and strategic planning, Rome expanded across the Italian peninsula. Soon, Rome faced a powerful rival, Carthage, a wealthy city in North Africa. The conflict between these two powers led to the Punic Wars. One of Rome's greatest enemies during this time was Hannibal, who led his army, including war elephants, across the Alps into Italy. It was one of the boldest military moves in history. Despite heavy losses and years of struggle, Rome eventually defeated Carthage. With this victory, Rome became the dominant power in the Mediterranean. Territories in Spain, Greece, and parts of North Africa came under Roman control. However, expansion brought new problems. As Rome grew richer and larger, political tension increased. Powerful generals gained influence because they commanded loyal armies. One of these generals was Julius Caesar. Caesar was a brilliant military leader. After conquering Gaul, he returned to Rome with great popularity and power. When political rivals tried to limit his authority, Caesar crossed the Rubicon River with his army, an act that signaled civil war. He emerged victorious and declared himself dictator for life in 44 BC. This decision alarmed many senators who feared the end of the Republic. That same year, Caesar was assassinated inside the Senate. His death did not restore stability. Instead, it led to another series of civil wars. Eventually, Caesar's adopted heir, Augustus, rose to power. In 27 BC, Augustus became Rome's first emperor. Though he claimed to restore the Republic, real power rested in his hands. The Republic had ended. The empire had begun. Under Augustus, Rome entered a period of stability known as the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. For nearly 2 centuries, the empire experienced relative order and prosperity. Rome built roads stretching thousands of miles connecting cities and military outposts. These roads allowed armies to move quickly and trade to flourish. Aqueducts carried fresh water into cities. Engineering achievements transformed daily life. One of the most famous structures built during the imperial era was the Colosseum. This massive amphitheater hosted public events, including gladiator contests and spectacles attended by thousands. Roman law developed into a complex legal system that influenced many modern nations. Latin, the language of Rome, became the foundation for languages such as Spanish, French, Italian, and Portuguese. At its height, the empire stretched from Britain in the north to Egypt in the south, and from Spain in the west to parts of the Middle East in the east. It was vast, wealthy, and powerful. But managing such a large territory was difficult. Over time, economic strain increased. Maintaining the army was expensive. Political corruption weakened leadership. Emperors rose and fell rapidly, some ruling for only months before being replaced. External pressure also grew. Various groups from beyond Rome's borders began pushing into imperial territory. The empire faced repeated invasions and internal rebellion. In an attempt to improve control, the empire was divided in 395 AD into 2 parts, the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. The Eastern Empire, with its capital at Constantinople, remained strong and stable. The Western Empire, however, continued to decline. In 476 AD, the last Western Roman emperor was removed from power. This event traditionally marks the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Eastern Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, would survive for nearly another 1,000 years. Although the Western Empire fell, Rome's influence did not disappear. Roman law became the foundation of legal systems across Europe. Roman engineering influenced architecture for centuries. The concept of a republic inspired future political systems. Even the calendar we use today reflects Roman design. The rise of Rome demonstrates how discipline, organization, military strength, and political innovation can build a civilization that shapes the world. Its fall shows how overexpansion, economic difficulty, and unstable leadership can weaken even the most powerful empire. From a small settlement on a riverbank to a civilization that dominated continents, Rome's story remains one of the most significant chapters in human history. Its roads may have aged, its emperors long gone, but the legacy of Rome continues to shape the modern world.